What's a YouTube? Dale here from Zephyr Wargames, bringing you a Dark Magician Girl deck build. Now, obviously, I have got some proxies for the new stuff, so Eternal Soul and Dark Bane Attack and stuff like that, so I'm going to go through those as well. This is a bit of a tester deck. Now, obviously, the biggest issue with mixing the Dark Magician with the Dark Magician Girls themselves is just generally that, again, there's so many ways to play the Dark Magician deck. You can go for the rank 7, just full out spam kind of deck. Or when you start adding in the Dark Magician Girl, you focus more on using their spells and traps, such as Dark Magic Attack and stuff like that. So without further ado, we'll crack straight through with these, and you can kind of see where I've chosen to go with this kind of build. So yeah, right. You definitely play 3 of this guy. 3 Dark Magician, no questions, no arguments. Like, you have to play 3 of this guy. Now, 3 Dark Magician Girl. You can drop this down to 2 if you want to, because it may get slightly cloggy. But as we go through the deck, I'll show you the other cards that can help get these 2 out and make it a little bit easier for you. Also, we have 3 Magician of Dark Illusion, because obviously he counts as Dark Magician on the field. So the new spell cards, when Dark Magician Girl's on the field, are active as well. So it's another target. You can drop this down to 2 again if it gets too cloggy, but it's kind of like this trio is kind of how all the spells and traps are going to go off best, and work it that way. 3 Magician's Rod, because now with the new cards added, he can search a heck of a lot more. And obviously I play Sage Stone in this build as well, so obviously he can search that out as well as Circle. So the idea is you would use Magician's Rod to search out your navigation or your Circle, and then again Circle has more targets to get. I play 2 Legion, the Fiend Jester. Now you can play this at 3 if you want, but again, sometimes it can be cloggy. So for those of you that don't know what Fiend Gesture does, basically during your main phase you contribute summon 1 spellcaster type monster in face up attack position in addition to your normal summon or set. So basically if you open up with Legion and Dark Magician Girl, that's a first turn Dark Magician Girl. And then obviously if you have Sage Stone in your hand as well, she'll help you get out Dark Magician, and then obviously all the spells are kind of active. And then again, when Legion, Fiend Jester, leaves the field, if it's sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add 1 spellcaster type normal monster from your deck or graveyard to hand. So basically, normal summon this guy, tribute it off the Dark Magician Girl, it goes to the graveyard, gets his effect to search out Dark Magician. So there's a nice little circle around, and obviously the main reason you have Legion is to get into Dark Magician Girl. But again, if you're going, let's say you have Magician's Rod on board and that stays on board, or you have Chocolate Girl, that stays on board, there's nothing to stop you normal summoning Legion on your second turn, tributing both Legion and Chocolate Girl, and then getting the Dark Magician out as well. Speaking of Chocolate Girl, so you play 2 Chocolate Girls. Now obviously you can play this at 3 if you want, but I've kind of gone for a 2-2-2 kind of build with the Magician Girls of some of the ones that I think are most important. So obviously this card lets you send cards to the graveyard and draw and replace, and obviously by doing so, when it's targeted for an attack, you get to special summon from the graveyard half your opponent's attack, the attack of the opponent's card, and redirect it. So she helps circle around. And then obviously you've got 2 Apple Magician Girl as well. So once per turn, if this card is targeted for an attack, you can special summon 1 level 5 or lower spellcaster monster from your hand. So again, you would probably bring out Berry, or you could bring out Chocolate, or you could bring out any of the other lower Legions or Rod if you really want to, but Rod's a bit of a waste being special summoned out. You change the attack target again, and if you do, the attacking monster's attack becomes half its current attack. If this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you target up to 3 Magician Girl monsters with different names in your graveyard and add them to the hand. So it lets you recycle Chocolate and Apple, because it doesn't actually state it can't do it itself, and Dark Magician Girl. And then obviously the 2 Berries, so it'll also help you cycle back this guy, or girl, sorry. So if this card is normal summoned, you add 1 Magician Girl monster from your deck to your hand. Once per turn during either player's turn, when your opponent activates a card or effect that targets this card, or targets this card for an attack, you can change this card's battle position, and if you do, special summon 1 Magician Girl from your deck, except Berry Magician Girl. So obviously she can help you get Dark Magician Girl out quite quickly. Obviously the one thing that this one doesn't do that the other 2 do is it doesn't redirect the attack. So to finish off the monster lineup, we play 2 Maxi just for the draw power. I mean, you might not need it as much, but with this day and age, with everyone special summoning, it's kind of like a must or a need in certain decks. You can obviously side it out, in case your opponent isn't that heavy in special summoning, so that's definitely an option there. Now on to the spells. 3 Dark Magic Circle, because like I said before, this now has more targets than ever to search out. And obviously, so when this card is activated, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, then you reveal 1 Dark Magician or spell or trap card that specifically lists the card Dark Magician among them, add it to your hand. Also place the remaining cards on top of your deck in any order. If a Dark Magician is normal summoned or special summoned to the field except during the damage step, you can target 1 card your opponent controls, banish it. You can only use each effect of Dark Magic Circle once per turn. So obviously with Eternal Soul you can constantly make sure that you're doing this during either player's turn. And then obviously it's targets that it can now search out. So it's got 3 Dark Magicians that it can search in your deck. It can then search out your Sage Stones because it lists Dark Magician in its name. So if you control a face-up Dark Magician girl, special summon 1 Dark Magician from your hand or deck. It can also search out Dark Magic Attack. So you can only activate this card if there is a face-up Dark Magician on the field. So obviously Black Illusion also Magician of Dark Illusion also counts as Dark Magician on the field. So that's active then. And then I would play 2 Dark Burning Attack. 2 Dark Burning Magic. So obviously you can take out 1 for Regeki if you want. But the fact it's a quick play. If you control monsters whose original names are Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl, destroy a card your opponent controls. So, Dark Magic Circle can search this out, so can Rod. And also, because it's a quick play spell, you can literally play Navigation during your opponent's turn, bring out a Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl. If you have Circle active, you're banishing one of their monsters if you want to, and then you're flipping this and blowing up the field. So at 2 I think is enough. I think 3 might get too cloggy because of its specific requirements. Now obviously you could do this and 1 Regeki if you wanted to, because obviously you've got the back row covered with your Dark Magic attacks. And then obviously Dark Magic attacks can be Twin Twisters and MSTs if you want to. And obviously this card will then, if you have a Magician of Dark Illusion in your hand, it will also then chain to that and allow Magician of Dark Illusion to come out. I play 1 Dark Magic Veil just to get out, because obviously now you can target your Dark Magician Girl. 1 Illusion Magic just to help get that Dark Magician to hand for your navigation. So that's kind of it for the spells. The spells aren't mass, but because they're quite searchable and easy to pull out. Now I've got 2 Eternal Soul and 1 Call of the Haunted. Now obviously you can turn this to a 3rd Eternal Soul without an issue, and again obviously Eternal Soul is searchable with Circle and Rod. So Eternal Soul, all Dark Magician monsters in your monster zone are unaffected by your opponent's card effects. If this face-up card leaves the field, destroy all monsters you control. You can activate one of these effects. Special summon 1 Dark Magician from your hand or graveyard, add 1 Dark Magic Attack or Thousand Knives from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect of Eternal Soul once per turn. So, now obviously if you put Village of the Spellcasters in this deck, then yes, you can slow down your opponent massively, but obviously the second they drop a Spellcaster on you, it's null and void. And that's how you kind of protect your Eternal Soul. Now, yes, Eternal Soul has such a big weakness that it can get popped really, really easily. So, we're not going to know for sure until it actually comes out, because there's only so much that an AI on a game can show you and work with. But me, if I was playing a Dark Magician, this would be my target. I would be holding my MSTs and Twin Twisters off for the second this pops up. But then again, you've also got to worry about circles, because it only destroys all monsters you control. So you've still got to worry about circles, you've still got to worry about navigations, because obviously the navigations in the graveyard can be banished to negate the MSTs or the Twin Twisters. So obviously the longer you wait, the more protection Dark Magicians are going to get. Now obviously this will blow up all monsters you control, that's fine. And that's gone. If your opponent has a second one set, activates that, brings the Dark Magician back, and if he's got a circle there, he's banishing and going off again. Now obviously you can have it at 3. Which is absolutely fine. I would say definitely have it at 3. The Call of the Haunted is then optional, because they're pretty much the same, apart from the fact that this is continuous, like bringing back, and obviously it lets you search. You could have a Call of the Haunted if you're a bit more skeptical towards the cost that Eternal Soul has when it's popped, because then obviously you can pop Eternal Soul, blow up all your monsters, and then you can activate a Call of the Haunted. But you could just as easily activate a second Eternal Soul, as long as you haven't already brought back a Dark Magician that turn. So yeah, it's entirely up to you, 3 or 2 Eternal Souls. I would recommend 3, but obviously Call of Haunted is there as an option for you. And then obviously 3 Magician Navigation because of the back row negation, and obviously it helps you get your Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl out in one fell swoop. And you got 1 Solemn Warning, 1 Solemn Strike, and 1 Dark Renewal. Now obviously Dark Renewal, again, is a bit of an iffy card because you have to have a monster in order to target, and obviously you target your opponent's monster as well, and obviously today's day and age, some cards don't like being targeted. So you can easily take this out for a Dark Magic Veil, because this is just another way of getting my Dark Magician Girls on the field, or whatever Dark Magician I may be missing. So yeah, that's kind of, it's player preference. So it really depends on how you want to play the deck, and kind of go from there. Right, so now onto the extra deck. Play 2 Ibon Illusion Magician. This is probably one of the best cards there is. You don't really focus so much on the extra deck as much now, because if you're using your navigations to get your Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl out, you'll want to be focusing more on the back row cards that you have in your quick play spells. But nonetheless, you want Ibon Illusion because he's just such a good card to be able to bring out a Dark Magician from your hand or deck, and then when your Dark Magician declares an attack, he can banish a card is amazing. Now, Ibon High is another good one, which maybe in this build you could argue that it could be bumped up to 2, for the pure fact that you've got so many spells and traps in hand. If your opponent's setting all these MSTs and Twin Twisters and stuff like that, and they want to be popping your back row, you could obviously hold on to your Dark Burning Magic and stuff like that, if you've got a Dark Magician Girl and Dark Magician on board. But this guy is mainly like, I liked him on my other build, because my other build has Quaking Mirror Forces, and it's quite nice. It also doesn't state what type of traps, it just says traps. So you can activate quick play spell cards or trap cards from your hand. So basically you could activate Solemn Warning, Solemn Strike, stuff like that from your hand if you wanted to. And obviously because it's quick play, you just detach and off you go. You've got the negation going. Doesn't really stop it if your opponent goes second, he's got a clear board and he bangs down a Regeki. But obviously when this card is destroyed, you special on 1 Dark Spellcast type monster from your hand or deck, then you can destroy 1 card on the field. So it's not a bad card, it's a really nice card. It just hasn't really got that traction to kind of be merited at more than 1 in this build at this moment. 1 number 11 Big Eye, because it's such a nice card in a rank 7 deck, you can kind of do it. Draco Sack, Red Eyes Flare Metal, and then Gaia Dragon, the Thunder Charger. Now the reason Gaia Dragon Charger is in there, obviously he can be made generally with 2 level 7s, but then obviously because we've got the Dark Magician Girls in here, you can be focusing more on the rank 6 build, so you can just overlay him on top. I will also mention that obviously the deck doesn't contain a Dark Magician of Chaos. You can add a Dark Magician of Chaos, but the deck is a 42 card deck at the moment, because I'm a bit indecisive as to whether I want to drop it by 2 cards. If I see 2 cards I think that can easily be dropped, again that'll only come with like actually physically testing the deck. But Demock is also another option you can put in, and that will help boost up your Dark Magician Girl, because at the moment you've got the 3 Dark Magicians engraved, she's up to 29. If you put in a Demock, she goes a little bit more. Now onto the rank 6. So Photon Strike Basil is probably one of the best rank 6 at this moment in time. Now again, we're never going to get, I don't want to say never, but the chances are highly unlikely that we'll ever see Magigirl in TCG, which is a big shame, because in this deck would be the most amazing card ever. And then obviously you could then use overlay on top and into a Ibon. 1 Constellar M7, because obviously it's a nice generic rank 6 to play. And then Nododo, the Moral Leader, because obviously you can then, sorry, I keep saying obviously, I'm going to have a counter for that. Ibon Illusion can go on top of Naruto, and so it's 2 level 6 spellcast monsters once per turn during either player's turn. When your opponent activates a spell or track card, you can detach 1 material from this card, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. So it's a 2700 beta spell or trap negator, so it's quite nice to have in the deck. Then onto the rank 4 engine, so you've got Trapeze Magician, Gargoyle Cowboy, Castell, Abyss Dweller, and Digusto Emerald. Now the rank 4 engine isn't as important in this build, because I mean you really don't want to be overlaying your Magician Girl or your Chocolate Girls and your Jesters, so you could easily take out one of the rank 4 cards for like Break Sword or a decent rank 3 card, You could put a couple more rank 3 cards in there because obviously you've got the 3 rods and then you've got the 2 apple girls. You could put a rank 1 in there if you wanted to because you've got berry girls. But this is kind of like the safe kind of build. You can easily add Eye of Timaeus into the deck, and then you can add in the Magician Dragon Knight, Timaeus, and Dark Paladin. So it does open you up to more options in the build. Again, like I said, the build is kind of susceptible. It's up to you how you want to play Dark Magicians, especially with the new support coming out. Now, obviously, Dark Magician Girl is a nice little variant. There is the other option where you go more Dark Magician Girl than you do Dark Magician itself, but with Circle, Navigation, and Eternal Soul being as strong as they are, there's no real reason why you shouldn't be going for them cards and be building it with them cards, apart from the fact that they are kind of stupidly expensive. So thanks for that, Konami and the second-hand market. But yeah, it's definitely a really nice deck to play. It's not meta. It's not. It does struggle when they get bigger beat sticks on boards that don't like being targeted. However, as a Dark Magician fan and a Dark Magician player, the second that you can kind of susceptibly make a deck that can contain both the original Dark Magician Girl and the original Dark Magician, nostalgia's nice to go with. They can definitely hold their own. It's just they play quite a hard catch-up game with the likes of Chaos Max and Cosmos. Not that they're as big of a threat as they once were. And obviously Metaphors can flood the board as well. But again, I'm hoping that Metaphors are going to develop and actually start playing 2 Metaphors Fusion, because there has been a couple of games where I've obviously banished the Metaphors Fusion and they've kind of just fallen apart. However, that is the Dark Magician Girl deck build. More Dark Magician than Dark Magician Girl, but kind of a nice balance, and the way that I kind of like playing it. Let us know what you think of the deck below. Let us know what you think of the new cards like Eternal Soul, Dark Burning Attack, and the ratios you'd play that at. Let us know what you think about Magi Girl. Do you think we'll ever see it in the TCG? But yeah, thanks for watching. I hope the deck helps and I hope you enjoy it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and share. And as always guys, happy dueling. If you like this deck profile, why don't you check out our other videos available. We have more deck profiles, more openings and duels. We appreciate all your support and we hope you enjoy. Don't forget to press that big important red button in the bottom left hand corner, that subscribe button, to keep up to date with everything we are doing. Thanks guys and happy dueling.